Okay, I'm going to move on to the state's attempt to prove the commission of an overt act in furtherance of a criminal objective. And mind you, they have to prove all of these elements beyond a reasonable doubt. So it's not like I have to show everyone did not happen. These elements all have to be proven by the state. Okay, and a reminder, this isn't just about people committing crime, because I'm just going to sit here and tell you there's no doubt that people that are in social media posts that are in evidence in this case, there's no doubt that people with YSL tattoos, there's no doubt that people that say slat have committed crimes. No one's disputing that. Isolated crimes by an individual or a group of individuals that have nothing to do with any alleged conspiracy cannot be overt acts. It's not just crimes that or other acts that are alleged against people associated with YSL. The acts must further the criminal objectives of the alleged conspiracy. So what do they focus on? They focus on, first of all, oddly, artistic expression. Jeffrey's lyrics. Like we're just going to pretend there's not a thing called rap music. We're going to pretend there's not a thing called artistic license. We're going to pretend there's not a thing called YSL, the record label. And when Jeffrey says slat in a song or slime in a song, which is recognized worldwide and is popular and sells albums, we're going to pretend that there's no context to this, and we're just going to pretend that all these lyrics are somehow designed to further a RICO organization. That's absurd. We're going to pretend Shannon Stillwell's statements about bragging, about beating a murder rap, which is good for his music career, is somehow furthering some criminal objectives of some conspiracy. That's absurd. They list in their list of overt acts a bunch of social media posts. Social media posts of people with tattoos on their face. Nothing else. Just, oh, he took a picture with a tattoo on his face. Or wearing slime clothing or Make America Slime Again clothing. Clothing created, mind you, by Miles Farley, a person who was able to, again, turn negative into positive and turn that movement that was going on in Cleveland Avenue in a way for him to make money through selling clothing, for him to provide to his family. Turns out Miles Farley didn't subscribe to, oh, your options are athlete, entertainer, dead, or jail. He decided to design clothes. And what's his reward? You're part of a conspiracy. What does the state say were these overt acts? Well, they list a lot of petty drug selling. We heard from Trontavia Stevens, I don't know if you remember, but it was a long time ago, I know. But he talked about being pulled over. And I made sure to ask him. And he wasn't denying that he had a bag of weed on him. I said, hey man, who went in on you, with you, on that bag of weed? I bought it. Okay, yeah, but when you sold it and made a profit, who are you going to share the money with? And look at me like I was crazy. Man, this is a $100 bag of weed. I ain't sharing money with anyone. I'm a drug dealer. I buy drugs and I sell drugs and I make a profit and I keep the profit. What evidence have we seen at all that any of this petty drug dealing had anything to do with furthering some criminal enterprise? It's isolated acts. They list gun possession. 2019, they say Shannon Stillwell is possession of a gun in furtherance of the criminal objectives of the conspiracy. Man, we have heard ever since Shannon Stillwell was falsely accused of killing Donovan Thomas in 2015 about people shooting at his head, people shooting at the car he's in. People are trying to kill him. And you think he's possessing a gun as some furtherance of some conspiracy? Does that make any sense? He's trying to survive. The murder of Jamari Holmes, tragic event. Horrible. Complete waste of 3 lives. Jamari Holmes, Rodelius Ryan, and Mr. Blaylock. 3 teenagers, senselessly, all lose their lives to varying degrees. Jamari Holmes obviously loses his life in the most real sense. Absolute tragedy. No one's going to say otherwise. This list is an overt act in furtherance of furtherance of the criminal objectives of the alleged conspiracy. It was like a 15-year-old doing something incredibly stupid. What objectives was that furthering? It wasn't. It's an isolated act committed by someone who screams out YSL and screams out SLAT. But that doesn't mean it's furthering any conspiracy. We hear about Jaden Myrick. First of all, who the heck is Jaden Myrick? I know they put him on this indictment, like to try to say, oh yeah, he's a co-conspirator in this too. But they're the ones that put his name on this indictment. What have we heard about Jaden Myrick? We ever hear about Jaden Myrick ever meeting Shannon Stillwell? Do we have any indication that Jaden Myrick knows Shannon Stillwell? What about Jeffrey Williams? Any indication that Jaden Myrick knows Jeffrey Williams? Who the heck's Jaden Myrick? But some dope in the jail that's looking to make money by doing something incredibly stupid and attacking Rashawn Bennett. So he calls another dope, and they come up with their own little, hatch their own little plan, but it has nothing to do with some broad conspiracy that Shannon Stillwell willfully and knowingly joined. We heard about jail calls. They're all listed as overt acts. Cordarius Dorsey calling Antonio Sumlin. Hey, I want you to attack some guy named, Victor Meadows, I think his name was. I can't even remember the guy's name. Had nothing to do with this case. And Antonio Sumlin's like, what? And he's like, okay, man. And he hangs up the phone and doesn't do anything about it ever again. Is that furthering a conspiracy? And this was the coup de grace. Christian Eppinger has an armed robbery arrest warrant out for him. And the police jump out on him, unmarked police, and say, get down, boy! And he has a gun. And he gets into it with the officer and shoots. And runs. And then another officer shoots at him and he shoots back and he continues to run. Somehow the state is alleging that Christian Eppinger, no one else is there, no one's saying, hey, Christian Eppinger, do this for YSL. Christian Eppinger trying to avoid arrest, trying to stay free, completely isolated from anything else going on in this case. Somehow Christian Eppinger doing that making that idiotic decision to shoot an officer to avoid being arrested, somehow that is in furtherance of some conspiracy that Shannon Stillwell knowingly and willfully joined? Doesn't make any sense. In review of count 1, ladies and gentlemen, YSL is many things. It's not a gang, full-fledged or hybrid, and it's certainly not a RICO enterprise. Shannon Stillwell, in associating himself with Jeffrey Williams and Trontavious Stevens and Quamarvius Nichols, his good friend, and Miles Farley and others, and Wooney Lee, he wasn't knowingly and willfully conspiring with anyone to participate in any enterprise aimed at a pattern of racketeering activity. He was in the mix. He was trying to make music. He was also, coincidentally, if we're being honest, he was selling drugs. He wasn't sharing them with anyone. He wasn't sharing the profits. He was selling drugs and trying to make music. And he was around the right people to be trying to do that with, because those connections were going to, in his mind, further his music career, which is what he